I want you to look here. We finally got the son of a... Well, hello and welcome again to River Valley Farm. Yeah, I've been back to the D9, but I'm not done with it yet, so I don't have a video done on it, and it'll be all right. We'll get there. We're standing here next to the New Holland Super 66. It's March 29th, I think. Things are beginning to get green. Nice looking out here, so I guess it's time to start thinking about hay again. And anyway, what we're going to do today is we got a chain here that I want to replace. Actually, two chains that I want to replace. This 2040 right here that runs my knotters. As you can see, it's pretty slacked. My adjuster is all the way up. So we're gonna have to drop it down and just replace this chain. I bought chain right there, so we got that. And then I'm also, I think this one is 2050 right here, which drives the pickup. I'm not real sure what I even bought. I bought this stuff months ago because I got it on a deal. And I got good chain too. This drives roller chain is one of the better ones you can get. Probably better than the stuff you could get from New Holland nowadays. And then this one, what is this one even? A 50? Don't say. Now I gotta look. $20.50. So yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna replace the one for the pickup drive here and this one. I could possibly take a link out of this, but I would much as soon just replace the whole chain because, well, then I'll know what I got. I was having a little bit of issues late last year with excuse me, knotting and whatnot, so we're gonna go with timing was a problem because we busted a set of needles they already took to the scrap. So anyway, we are going to make sure that we get this. We're going to replace this chain right here. I brought the manual so I can figure out how to time it, because I'd about bet we're going to have to time it. But anyway, or well, I know we'll have to time that. But yeah, it's just kind of, yeah, we busted a set of needles, so there you go. It was out of time. And that is the chain that drives the knotters, which is, yeah, that's what it is. So anyway, next up, I gotta read the book and tell you how to time it. All right, so step one, remove the knotter drive chain, which I did. And then place the crank here in this position between, hopefully you can see that mark and that mark. So we're pretty much between there. I made this, or well, I used this old tobacco stick and jammed in there so it wouldn't turn on me while I was messing around here, because I don't want it to turn. That would be bad. Then what's next? Make certain that the knotter clutch pawl, so this, that piece right there, is against the knotter stop. So it is, it's right where it's supposed to be. That's what you're, when you get your length of bail that you want, it trips and then lets the knotter clutch rotate, okay? So let's say pull up on the, let's say remove the backlash in the knotter clutch by pulling upward on the needle yoke rod at the point where it is attached to the knotter arm. Nodder arm needle yoke rod is up here. Okay. So it says pull up on that. Yeah, I'm kind of learning this as I go because this one is different. So, okay, so that should be backlash removed from there. Turn the nodder clutch gear until the timing marks of the nodder clutch and the nodder clutch disc are directly opposite of each other. So we're going to line up the timing marks like it shows in this picture. So anyway, there's one mark. And does it say which way? No, it didn't. So anyway, by looking at their picture, well, let me find this. Okay, so marks are aligned. Should probably get a paint pen so we can see that better. Well, you guys can see it better without the light. But mark. So marks are aligned. Install the nodder drive chain. Position the chain tighteners and tighten the drive chain securely, keeping the timing marks on the nodder clutch gear and the nodder clutch disc directly opposite of each other. Okay, so now I need to put the chain back on. That's fairly simple for timing one of these. Actually, I've seen, I don't remember what model New Holland baler it was. I think it was a 315 for some reason. That you know, it had to be within 1/4 of an inch of something, and it's like, okay, that's lovely, but whatever. So yeah, next up for me is I got to put the nodder drive chain back on, and then we should be able to cycle it and make sure nothing's hitting as long as everything stays in time, in theory, right? So then I got to make a chain, which we might cover that process another day. But anyway, we're just gonna lay them out on this board here and count the links on the old one, which is this one, and then get the new one and count it out, and hopefully we don't have to add to it, but we'll see. This is a 10-foot, or well, rolls of chain come in 10-foot pieces. So anyway, may use that. That's longer, be easier to deal with. Okay, so just a quick point about chains. Okay, you can see that's in line right there. Okay, and then the farther down the chain we go, the less in line it is between the old chain and the new chain. Okay, by the time we get down here to the end, it's a full pin width off. Okay, that's how much wear was in that chain. I'm not knocking it at all, because I believe, anyway, if I can find the red paint on it, there's red paint on this old chain, so it may very well have been the original chain. Matter of fact, I pretty much guarantee you it's the original chain, because this is the original paint on this baler. If I can find, okay, here it was stenciled where it was shipped to originally. Schaefer Implement Company Incorporated in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Hopefully y'all can see that, but yeah, Schaefer Implement Company in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. For something that's come out of the late 50s, I'd say it's done pretty well for most of its life. I think the stencil on this other side is even better yet. But probably not as visible because it's dark over here. Well, anyway, let's see. Yeah. At least I think I'm spelling that right. Maybe it's Shafter. I don't know. But anyway, you can see it. Schaefer Implement Company, Greensburg, PA. So, I brought that up in one other video that I've done about this thing. But as I said, that may well be the original chain. And if it is, it's survived quite well over the years for what it is. But being that much extra slack in that chain, and as loose as it was with the tight tensioner pulled all the way up, well, we were having problems. So hopefully this will solve it. And yes, if you hadn't noticed, I am going to have to add to my chain. We're going to go back with counting links. Don't ever measure a chain, because this is what you'll end up with. You'll end up with too much chain for what you're dealing with and have to put a half link or take a half link out or something like that. Count the links on a chain, because that way you know you got it right. All right, so we got our new chain installed. I have not adjusted the tensioner yet, but it's installed. And our marks are just a little bit out of line there, so that's good, because when I pick up on the tensioner, it should pull that the right way, I think. If not, then we'll have to split it and jump it a link and then tension it again and play with it until we get it to where it lines up right. Let me tension it and see what we get. All right, so I got my tension where I like it. You know, there's still a fair amount of slack in the chain, but it's not going to jump a tooth or anything like that, so that's good. And then, but of course we have a problem. Imagine that. There's always got to be a problem, right? My timing marks didn't line up. So we're going to have to pull this ahead. Yeah, skip it a tooth, basically. But the one thing about this 2040 chain is we can, or well, about the way this one's set up on this end, as this is a regular old number 40, number 40 sprocket. It's not a 2040 sprocket. So you can jump it a tooth and have it be where it needs to be, hopefully. At least that's what we're going to go with. So we're still not quite right. Interesting. Although we do have some play here, but I don't know how that's going to work out. I've got a loose shear pin down here. I don't know when that loosened up, but anyway, it's probably been giving me some issues as well. Imagine that, issues, right? But, you know, we're close, but not quite. So basically, I think we're just going to have to run it a cycle, or well, turn it a cycle through by hand until everything lines up again and see where we are. Is going to be the simplest thing to do. So let me do that and then we'll see what we come back to. Actually, let me hook this up first, then we'll see what we get. Okay, so I spun it around twice just to see, and now we need to come back the other way. Mark, mark. So it's moved that far forward on us. So now I got to take it and jump it back one tooth on that sprocket and hope that we'll get it to line up right. It'd be really nice if it would anyway, right? So, yeah. Okay, so we did all that, and then we still end up a little bit off, basically, you know, that 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch off there. So, yeah. that little bit. So we're going to try and actually cycle the knotter this time and see what that gives us. So needles are properly in time when the plunger, or let's see, with the plunger just, let's see, needles when properly in time with the plunger just begin to enter the bale chamber when the tips of the projections on the face of the plunger have passed the points of the needles by a quarter to 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so we're going to trip the knotters and turn this thing slowly and see if and when we, well, let's see. Yeah, I guess they're talking about the little ramp looking deal at the bottom of the plunger as the projections on the plunger. So they should pass the tips of the needles at about 3/4 of an inch, or well, 1 inch, somewhere around a 1/2 inch, basically 1/4 to 3/4, so 1/2 inch. So this should be fun to find, but anyway, let's see what we get. All right, so my plunger is as far back as the plunger goes, basically. Our connecting rod and crank and connecting rod are at full stroke towards the rear of the baler, so that's as far as it goes. Okay, and we haven't hit yet. Haven't hit anything yet, so I'm going to say that we are okay that way. Now, you know, allowing for this thing 60 years worth of wear and whatnot. So let's continue the cycle here. Oh, and see where we end up. Well, what was that, I wonder? That didn't sound good. Something was hitting my something hit something, let's say. Okay, so I need to adjust this needle here. Actually, it's sticking out too far. That one's up too far, so we will have to try and back it down just a little bit and make it even with this one, hopefully, or maybe try and bring the other one up. But let's see, can't see which we're rubbing on the twine fingers or not anywhere. So anyway, keep turning, I guess. What was that? It just hit. Sheesh. This thing is all kinds of trouble today. What's going on here? And we ain't even got the wad board moving, I don't think. Can't tell, but I don't think we do. Nope, we don't. It's not moving because it's not tied in. So anyway, make sure that my knotters seat back, which they just did. Bring this thing up and around again to where it's supposed to be at. Right about there, basically. Put my chalk in again. Okay. Let's go see where my marks lined up at. Or if they lined up at all. farther off than we were before. Trying to find out where you guys can see and I can see and all that good stuff. It's just not working out for me. So let's try this instead. So anyway, mark and mark. It's farther off than it was before now. So I wonder then if I were to just bring this thing back and then reconnect my chain, what I would get that way. But it's one of those, you're going to have to play with it to make it work right, and it's not a whole lot of fun. But anyway, you get the idea of what I'm up against here at the moment. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, and I'll be back later with something else. Like, for instance, figuring out why my wad board's not working. And then also why I've got hay stuffed in behind on the wrong side of the plunger over there. And I figured that one out. Might have to pull the plunger out of the thing and sort that one out. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to keep playing, and hopefully I'll get this sorted out before too long, because I'm getting hungry.